Hi, my friends. Are you ready to see my Orange County Fair table? In today's video, I am going to show you my finished Orange County table. Adventure awaits. We're going on a pirate adventure. I can't wait to show you. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Bonnie Overman. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope my channel will inspire you to lead a more productive, creative, and stylish life. At 80 age, always on a budget. You know I'm going to be 75 this year, and I just say it because if I can do it, believe me, I know you can do it too at any age. I have confidence in you. I want to thank all my wonderful subscribers, all my dear sweet friends that take the time to watch my videos and comment. You really touch my heart. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. You don't want to miss every month. I have different themes, especially when we get into fall, Halloween, and Christmas. We are going to have a blast. That's all I can tell you. Halloween, the whole month of October, I come on in a different costume every time. You don't want to miss this. It's pure comedy. You're in a bad mood, you're down in the dumps, watch my videos. Anyway, and if you like this, please give me a thumbs up. It does help my channel. All right, I'm not going to keep you long on this intro. I just want to say this is the second of 3 videos. If you missed video number 1, that is my concept video. I tell you the themes, why I picked the theme, how I'm going to sell the theme, how I'm going to do my table. Today's video is the second video. I'm going to show you my table, how I supported the backdrop, all the little details. And the third video coming up after August 5th is going to show all 50 more tables at the fair. If you missed the tables at the fair part 1, watch that. That's 50 tables. We have different themes now, and watch the next one. You get to see 100 tables done by very talented people at the fair. I mean, I was blown away this year. I've only seen the first show. I'm in the second show along with a couple of my friends. Anyway, enough of me talking. I want to show you now my table set up at home before I take it apart, take it down to Orange County Fair and set it up, and hopefully win something this year. The last 2 years have been nothing for me. Anyway, we'll keep our hopes up on that. Anyway, let's go now to the sea, and we're going to have dinner with the pirates, and watch out for the Kraken. That's all I have to say. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye. All right, you guys, I decided since I had my table set up all the way, I am just going to show you my table. And this is it. Don't pay any attention to the stuff off to the sides. I have it set up in my den right up against my bar here. But let me show you my table. Now I want to show you the back first of all. Now I know this is really hard to see, but you know how I do my tables. This is my brace that is clamped onto the table, and then I rest the backdrop against it, and then I tie it on with wire. I think you can see here I have it tied on. Now, you might wonder, how did I get the Kraken tentacles coming up? They're just in little holders from a cat food box. This is all going to be covered with a pirate flag, the whole back of this. And I have a pirate head resting on something. But anyway, that is my structure. Now, let's look at the table itself. So the top of my table here has a poor pirate, and all I have here is hands. I made the little cuffs and even the little buttons are anchors. I don't know if you can see that on the pirate hands. Of course, he's a skeleton. But anyway, he has a little bit of hair, and the rest of it is done with just shredded black fabric and some brown fabric and some creepy cloth, and then I just put a pirate hat on him, and I did put a black sash across his head. And then I made a little, I don't know what this is called, but as if he had a little tie around his neck and then some lace hanging down with another button. But they have anchors on them. I thought that was so cute. So these hands here are just hooked on to a little screw that I have on the front of the table. All of these things on my table are made like pictures. that just hang on the wall, okay? And I'll take one of these off and actually show you. But you can see here, so he's got the 2 tentacles. So I have a total of 6 tentacles that I made, again, from a little bit of pool noodles, and then I used mainly a thick wire, foil, and masking tape, and then tons of Mod Podge. And those little suckers were made from air dry clay. I made little circles and just stuck my finger in there. So anyway, so he's kind of lifting himself up over the side of the ship, and you can see the tentacles are coming around him. Now, the only other thing I want to do before I set this up is I do want to paint a couple of his teeth gold. I think that would be cool. Now, to soften the edge, you can see I put some fishing net, some chain, and on this side I did fishing net and some rope. Now, we come down the table and you can see here the Kraken eye. Now, you know you can buy those balls for Halloween with the eyes on them? I cracked it in half, put it on there in crumpled brown paper. That's all that is. And I painted it to match the actual skin of the Kraken, which you can see here. See how it's more blue and almost blackish brown? Okay, so anyway, that is the eye looking through one of the portholes. And again, these are wreath forms that I glued little knobs on. You can see the little knobs. And I painted it to look like old brass. So some brown, black, gold on it. Anyway, that's hanging on my table. Now, since these top ones here are actually sitting in a little like pouch or container, these here had to be glued on. Now, not only did I paint the backdrop to look like swirling water, and you know almost how it gets light when light's coming down and hitting it, but I wanted to make it look like it's breaking through the porthole. This was so easy. This is your clear plastic, when you do a report, it covers your sheets of paper. I bought a whole bunch. I only ended up using 1 sheet, but anyway, I just cut it and I just made a piece about that wide, and I just made it very sharp and jagged, and I hot glued the edges, hot glued all of this, and of course added the hot glue around to hold this on. But I attached this first, then I put this on. But look at, it's just plastic, but it looks like breaking glass. I kind of have this one bent inward, and this other one is bent down slightly. I didn't want them to be too long. I didn't want them to be too bent. I didn't want them to look exactly the same. But you can see they do stick out quite a bit on the table. But if I made them any longer, they would hang down onto the actual table. All right, let me show you the back. This is the back. So what I did here is I did two small holes, and I brought the wires through the back. And you can see a lot of hot glue, a lot of Kleenex box, just glued it to death. This is my little hanger. You can see right here. And there's my little screw. It's very stiff, so I wanted them also to be coming upwards. I didn't want them to be going downwards. I think it looks more real, like the thing pushed through and the tentacle is going upwards. Anyway, those are my tentacles, and I love the blue, and I just painted that. By the way, the backdrop on these portholes, that is just cardboard. And you can see I painted the underbelly, or the underneath part of the tentacle, a lighter color, because that's one thing they all had in common, a lighter color and then a darker top. You can see there's the top there. And I tried to match this to the face of the Kraken. Okay, a lot going on. Now let's get to the table part. So I have my big chest here. You know, that's the one that's on my side table. I just put some fishing net over it. And I found this little treasure chest at Hobby Lobby on sale for $3. The top's all messed up, but I put in pearls and rhinestones and one of these big coin necklaces I have. In the background, I have maps. I have a little paper that talks about Pirate Cove. Here's a fake hook hand. That was all plastic. I painted it. Here's the telescope that I painted. This is plastic also. These were toys. And I painted them to look like they're bronze. And of course, I have one of my little crabs from Michael's on the table. Now to flank that, I just have a little bit of a fan palm on either side, just to soften it a little bit and give a reference to the tropics. And then I have my lanterns. I cannot tell you how many times I've used these lanterns. I'm going to be using them at Christmas when I do kind of a Charles Dickens Christmas. That's kind of what I decided to call it, Old English Christmas. And then this is the menu, and I went through that on the last video, but again, it's a pirate adventure. Water and red wine. First course is crab cakes, then Jamaican jerk chicken, rice and peas, and rum cake. So my settings have to reflect that. So let's come over to the settings here. Now originally, as I told you, I was actually going to use a elephant ear for a placemat, and it did not look right. It looked fake. And so I thought, well, these are probably the captains having a meal, right? They're going to have all the fancy stuff. So they have some fancy gold charges they probably stole from somebody. Black plate. And then here's my little decoupage plate with the pirate symbol on it. And that feeling of this, of the porthole. I wanted to repeat that. And then a black napkin tied with a piece of rope. I have, this is my crab cake fork, entree, and then this is my for the rum cake. Okay, so that's my setting. I have a water glass and a wine glass. These are not in the right position right now, but I'll fix that for him. So I have that on both sides. Now let's look at how I further made use of this area in the front here. I have a bunch of maps, pieces that are torn. This was scrapbook paper, by the way. Torn, aged, really awful looking, but that's where they got some of this booty here. This is a little container I have all jewels in. Again, I have the pearls and the rhinestones and diamonds and gold in there. And then this is a little velvet bag that is spilling out, the little crabs on top, spilling out gold coins. Now, the thing I wanted to show you about the tablecloth is underneath here, I have a black velvet tablecloth. And when I get to the fair, I will change how this is hanging a little bit. So I have a black velvet tablecloth underneath, and I have a black velvet topper that has holes in it. Again, pirates would have very rich, nice things that have a lot of holes. They're worn. So I kind of gathered it up in the middle, and I put on, you saw this in my last video, my sign. So it says Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a piece of map. There's my same pirate that matches my plate. And 2 more tentacles. I just had to add some tentacles. And then, of course, the crossed swords, which matches the little picture there. And you can see this is the full picture. If I did not have this on the bottom, you can see it'd be very top heavy with the pirate up on top. All right, you guys, that is my table. I mean, to me, it looks like an ongoing adventure. Anyway, I hope you loved this. I hope you got so inspired most of all. And I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.